Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. The men are talking.
Hello.
Tonight.
Let's start again.
Let's do that.
He almost
Yeah,
set himself on fire.
This is my
How about this in Rotterdam?
Yes.
This is
Yeah, we're, and
a
just
rare
you know,
thing.
we're not starting
Sorry.
again. We're not starting again.
Okay, sorry, my
Because I
bad.
got it.
Can-
Because I said and he busted out
Oh,
loud.
that's not why I laughed.
And now we're talking.
Now we're
Yeah,
talking.
yeah,
Alright.
yeah.
Can I give you
So-
a little constructive criticism?
Well, too soon.
Oh, that's
No,
all-
but you can give me positive feedback.
That's right.
I would like
All
to
right.
hear more talking when
All
I
right,
say the word
millennial.
talking.
So,
It sounds
today we're going to be discussing music. Here with us today are, of course, me, Larry, Bill, Paul. We have Michael. We have Dave.
Me, John, big tree.
Dave, who you all know from the preview episode, but he wasn't able to make it for our first official episode. We've got him today. And unfortunately, our former contributor, Trayless, has passed away. Everyone say "aw." So tonight we are being joined by our new contributor, the Unknown Podcaster. Say hello, Unknown Podcaster.
Hello, unknown podcaster.
As you can tell, we picked him because he sounds exactly like Trayless.
Me.
So, just before we get started, I want to let you guys know that we are working on a YouTube channel. For those of you that prefer to listen that way, hopefully we'll have that up and running in the next week. So, let's start things off. Today we're going to be talking about music. We're going to go around. We're gonna ask everyone to start out with. We're gonna say, hey, you know, guys, we are a varied group.
So
from
diverse.
ages, backgrounds,
Genders.
all that, genders.
Sexual
I think in this
orientation.
group, I think diversity.
I mean,
Yeah. So our first
we were
question.
too diverse for a United Colors of Benetton ad.
Yes.
We're all
probably.
wearing our diversity sweatshirts.
Yes, and yes. Anyway.
Because we all graduated from diversity.
Oh my God.
Well, okay, everyone except me.
Did you have to do defense?
Oh, Michael did not either.
more like Gap circa 1991.
Everyone else has multiple degrees, so even different educational backgrounds. So, all right, our first question is:
Various levels
Yes.
of white privilege.
Some of us graduated from the best university in Florida.
Is there one? Yeah.
Oh, honey.
now,
Florida's always known for its educational system.
anyway,
I didn't realize you went to FSU.
So, our first question is gonna be name your 4 favorite bands. Now, just so you guys know, this podcast may go long. There is no saying that we're not doing time limits. We're not doing any of that stuff. We're just going. So we'll start with our newest contributor, the Unknown Podcaster. Name your 4 favorite bands.
Okay. Well, I hate the question.
I know you do. Not your 4 favorite bands of all time. Your 4 favorite bands right now.
My 4 favorite bands in the following sentence are,
That works.
in no particular order, and by bands, that it's musical artists.
Yes.
John Coltrane, Pink Floyd, Steely Dan, and A Tribe Called Quest.
All right. And why?
Why?
Yeah. Why? What?
Why?
Something
Should be
about.
pretty obvious. Well,
Yeah.
John Coltrane. All right. John Coltrane. There's a little bit of gamesmanship in choosing him. I mean, I've always loved John Coltrane. He has a certain tone that as soon as you hear 1 to 2 notes, you know it's him. Obviously, very significant, by the way, for all of the youngsters and white people. John Coltrane was a jazz tenor saxophonist who actually started on the alto, but then very quickly moved to tenor, and of course he played soprano in some of his recordings.
And
Well,
the
of
big
course.
brother of the 3 Robbie Coltranes.
And
Yes.
and a lot of people
Did you
don't
say
know
Ravi?
this.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this. Starred on the Dukes of Hazzard.
Mm.
No, that was his brother Roscoe.
Roscoe P.
Roscoe
Coltrane,
P.
yes, indeed. Yeah.
On the contrary.
But Roscoe P. Coltrane was named after John Coltrane because John Coltrane nicknamed his tenor saxophone Flash.
No way.
Hey, dog.
Yeah.
Really?
Crazy.
Yeah. And that's
Pass
the,
it down.
Yeah.
That's
Believe
awesome.
it or not.
Or not.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
All right.
Do
All right.
research.
That
You heard it here
Excellent.
on the internet, therefore it's true.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know, that's what
Quick
Abraham Lincoln
quoting
said.
Abraham Lincoln. Yeah.
No, it was King Solomon.
Sorry.
So John Coltrane,
I always get
wonderful
them mixed up.
saxophonist, and you get to hear the from his early career. I mean, there's some early recordings in the late '40s, but that's only for the nerds. Really, in the early to mid '50s,
Explains a lot.
quickly got picked up by the first great Miles Davis quintet, and that's where the world really got to know John Coltrane. And you can hear the evolution of jazz through his career, or at least the latter half of 20th century jazz. Of course, he died in '67, but anyway.
Counts. It's after 50.
Yeah. So, the other beautiful thing about choosing John Coltrane is he has individual recordings, some of which are entire albums, with other jazz greats. So there's a Thelonious Monk, John Coltrane collaboration on Prestige Records. It's really good. There's a Coltrane and Milt Jackson. So you get the vibraphone stuff. And of course, the great Miles Davis first quintet. And he's also on the seminal album, Kind of Blue, with Miles Davis Sextet.
Right.
Which bridges the gap between the first and second, quintets.
Right, and that seminal album explains why you like Florida State so much.
Yes.
Okay.
Because when I think of semen,
Wow.
I think of Tallahassee.
That was my fault. Sorry.
Yeah.
You
should've known
stepped
better.
into it right there.
You should have known
You
better.
Stuck
slipped on it.
Stuck my paw right out.
All right.
Get your dress dry clean.
Okay.
Michael,
Clean yourself up.
your 4 bands.
Okay, so the 4 bands that I like probably the most are going to be Bad Religion, Rise Against. I just went over this a second ago. Bad Religion, Rise Against.
I love how they're so important to you.
Offspring. I know, right?
I can sense your.
Oh, hush. And probably Pink Floyd as well.
Okay.
Nice. And if there's a reason why, it's just because a lot of them, I just like the message that they put out, and that's more the music driven versus lyrics, although
Right.
the lyrics are amazing.
Yes.
There's like maybe 2 Offspring songs that I don't like. Everything else is just amazing. Yeah, Bill?
Michael, as the elder statesman of the group.
That means old.
Old,
okay,
old
boomer.
statesman.
Yeah,
yes.
okay, boomer. Bad Religion, and the second one was.
Rise Against.
Could you give me, because I'm not familiar with either one of these bands.
Audience of One is a really, really good song that I like.
It
From
must
Rise
be
Against.
about you.
I mean,
'Cause I've never heard of them either.
who's the most important
You've never
person in
heard
the
Bad
audience?
Religion?
Me.
No, Rise Against.
Rise Against.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were
Yeah,
talking about
never
Rise
heard
Yeah,
Against.
Rise Against.
Oh, well then Savior would be the one everyone knows.
That is true. Savior's a good one, but
Which
Audience
sounds a
of
lot
One.
like Offspring.
Audience of One is the one that pops up into my head first because he said that. But Savior, they just. Again, I'm the type of person that listens to the song and I have no idea what the name of the song is. I just know the song word for word, beat by beat, because that's how I like to listen to things. Is in a CD format, if you will, even though that those are almost a thing of the past. And so therefore I will just listen to the song and the whole album, and then I'll just put it on repeat and listen to it again and listen to it again. So as far as naming certain songs, that's difficult unless I have the album in front of me, and then oh yeah, I like that one. I like that one. I like that one.
I was going to ask you, do you buy CDs and read the liner notes and listen to them in order, or at least the first
It
time around?
depends.
And,
It depends on how well I like the album.
Mhm.
If I absolutely love the album, that's when I will look at the liner notes and find out. Oh, okay, you know, things about the band. For when they still had lyrics on liner notes, and all you have to do now though is just go to the wonderful Google machine. So
and you get English
yeah.
Google Translate lyrics.
Well, weren't you the one, Michael, the other day that made the comment that if you're listening to an album that you really, really like, your brain picks up as soon as song 1 ends.
You know exactly where the
You
beat in
know
song
what's
2
coming
starts.
next.
Absolutely.
And when you're listening to, say, something like Pandora, and it goes to another artist, not the album that you're used to listening to, your brain is already gone
Yeah, and it kind
to
of
the next song.
skips and messes you up.
Yeah, while the song that went to the next song, I've actually played the entire next song following on the disc in my head without
Yeah.
listening to the next song I played on Pandora.
So what about
It's a money
listening
saver.
to a CD and you know exactly what track number
Oh yeah.
that song is? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going
Oh,
to
yeah.
put this in. I'm going to track 7 because that's this song.
Or if
This is
if,
Gary
it- if it's a
Goldman.
if it's a hidden track on the CD, then you're going.
Yeah, wait 25 minutes.
Hold the fast forward button down.
Well, this might be more album related than it is, you know, that band, that, you know. But one of my judgments on how good an album was, there was a benefit to having a CD player, boombox, whatever, is the random shuffle button.
Oh,
And, no. I see you're
I'm agreeing. I just referenced Gary Goldman.
no. That's see he on the other hand is
Unknown Podcaster's cringing right now.
cringing.
shuffle is the worst feature ever.
Because you're a
I
purist
felt-
and you want to hear the album as it was.
I understand that the artist
designed.
set up the album a certain way,
No, that's the producer.
but
That's-
Put
when
Pink Floyd on
the
shuffle.
totality of the album, every song is good, you can listen to it on shuffle, even though you might not get the artist's intent by the arrangement of the songs, and now we're, you know, working to something else. The shuffle button, I thought, was fantastic because it would give you that variety and it really introduced you to the album in order to hear a song that I thought it was a great feature.
Yeah, if I understand what you're saying, and I think I do, you're saying if an album is great
Yes.
in order, it's a great album.
Right.
But if you can put it on shuffle and still love every song,
It's escalated.
then that means the songs are also great.
Agreed.
I got
Yes.
you.
95% of the time.
Right.
But I understand whatever your name is.
Yeah,
That's all right.
podcast.
I'll be dead next week.
All right.
I wondered why you guys gave me a red shirt to wear.
I understand that blue cheese over here. The arrangement of an album.
Been exposed.
I figured the blindfold
Yeah.
would have been a hint of what was coming after the podcast.
But I agree with you. The arrangement of the album does matter, but a record like Back in Black is now 43 years old or something like that. So, and I understand.
Hush your mouth.
Yeah.
No.
And then and so
it was just 2 years ago.
there was just 2 years ago.
That was my new artist.
It was your new artist. So and there's strategies for that. It's how you want people to listen to it. It's also are you going to put the first cut? Does the record company say, oh, that's the hit, or such, and put that first? But once you've listened to that record, which I've listened to now for 20 years, and so I know it. So popping that in and hitting shuffle, now I'm surprised. Because I know the order of the sneaking album, and I know
Right.
what's coming next.
Right.
And they might sneak in, Let Me Put My Love Into You, or Giving the Dog a Bone, when I'm not expecting it.
Right, but that comes from when you first got
Sure.
AC/DC Black and Black. It was on either LP or cassette. There was no shuffle.
What?
Correct. No, that's right. That's why I know the order exactly.
Unknown Podcaster made a very valid point. He goes, try and put Pink Floyd on shuffle. However, Pink Floyd and, say, Queensryche, they did concept albums. Now,
Correct.
a concept album you need to listen in order because it tells a story from beginning to end.
Right.
Album rock.
But a lot of times,
Rock opera.
a lot of times on those albums, there's no space between the songs. That one song goes into the next song. So that's where,
There's
yes,
a disconjoined.
you get a totally different experience by listening to the entire album than you do.
Correct.
We don't need no education. You know, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, the most popular song off of there. It's a small part of it. If you listen to it, it is not its own song. It is a part of a story, but you can pluck them out and
appreciate them individually.
yes,
The first dad joke of the night.
yes,
Yes.
The reason that vegans can't have dessert. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Well done.
Insert laugh track.
There you go.
Sorry, I missed my cue.
Yes.
So in the interest of our extremely diverse panel, I'm sure you were all thinking this.
Yes.
Classical music, symphonic music actually, because classical is just a subset of that. But symphonic music, you're going to put movements on shuffle. You're going to listen to a symphony,
Actually,
but that
45-minute
again is-
recording out of order.
Actually, I've done that with Beethoven. I mean, that's not that hard. to
Ludwig
do.
van?
Yes, Ludwig van.
Asshole.
Is Beethoven and Beethoven? Is that the same guy?
No, that's the dog you're thinking of.
Okay, sorry.
You're thinking of chopping.
Broccoli.
Yeah.
No, the vodka.
Anyway,
The potato vodka.
Are you talking about Frederick fucking Chopin?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
no,
I
I'm
see.
sorry,
I
no.
got you now.
I was thinking of Froderick.
I hate to jump ahead to
Please.
the 24-hour question, but just to throw this out there, I'm gonna say Camptown Races.
Excellent. Wow.
You mean
Stephen?
You mean Stephen Stinking Foster?
Right.
The original version or the Blazing Saddles version?
Yes.
Well,
The Tombstone version.
I think Michael makes a valid point that yes, there are concept albums, and there are albums that the artist says, hey, this is how we're going to play them, and a producer, and sometimes they bury the lead. The best song is song number 4.
Right.
And there are other times where the best song is the album title, and it's the first track. And there are some albums that are better than others to where you can listen to, I like song 1, song 5, and song 9. And there are other albums where if you don't listen to song 3 before you listen to song 4, it makes no sense. So it varies, and shuffle will work on some. Bass Boost, another great feature.
Yeah, that's,
Gary Goldman, thank you.
yeah, that's how you get rid of batteries faster.
By the way, I just need to, Heidi, I think we need to introduce a new feature
We do.
tonight.
It's called Heidi Interrupts.
It's called, this is The Men Are Talking, and Heidi has felt the need to interrupt.
which
Heidi-
means Heidi has to answer a question.
means Heidi's already taken
By
her
the way,
hand.
that wasn't
So
Heidi.
me-
This is Heidi.
This is Heidi. I was coming down to comment on last week's
Are you
podcast,
going to
how
create a time
amazing
anomaly?
it was.
This is not good.
Why, thank you.
And so I thought maybe y'all took commercial breaks, but
We do not.
what would
We
you
need-
like to ask me?
But self-respecting
What?
advertising would
What?
underwrite this shit.
is your favorite
This
song?
segment is
What is your
presented by
favorite band or
Bane's
favorite
Jerky and
song?
Snacks.
Okay.
Bane's
So
Jerky and
I would
Snacks.
need- I
Go to
would need,
jerkyman850.com. Bane's Jerky
Men-
and
Tippin'
Snacks.
Olives Company.
Men,
Yes.
men,
Oh, sorry.
Heidi, Heidi's interrupting.
Oh, snap.
Larry, you could help me with this. So do you think my favorite is Air Supply and I'm All Out of Love? Or do you think it's Hotel California?
Oh,
and
it's
Eagles?
100% Hotel California.
Wait, what about ABBA?
No, it's Hotel
No.
California. It's Hotel California.
Okay, that's
By
exciting.
So there you go.
Eagles.
By the Eagles.
By Eagles.
the Eagles.
I have sorry, there was a brief. I heard a noise there. I do.
It's a
I have
bug.
three. I have
Yeah.
three. Yes, I know it was a bug. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
I have three. I have
There's a
three.
giant Florida cockroach.
I have three quick questions for Heidi. They're very easy. What's your name? We know this.
Heidi.
Here you go. What's your quest?
To find the Holy Grail,
And
sir.
what is your favorite color?
Blue.
No!
Go ahead.
Give me a bath.
Thank you. Sorry, I appreciate that.
Blue is the wrong answer?
Yeah.
No,
I thought your
blue's
quest
the right
was to
answer.
stamp out disease in Northwest Florida.
Well, it is.
I like-
He whispered something in my ear, and I got under peer pressure.
He just wanted you to be able to get across
It's not
the bridge
peer
without the
pressure,
trolls
it's just
throwing you
your
over the side.
turn.
I just
Okay.
love the fact that you got asked those questions by the one of us most likely to live under a bridge and
Yeah.
and quiz
My
travelers
honest
on these things.
answer, my quest in life
Yes, ma'am.
is to stamp out disease in Northwest Florida.
Can you start with UPC over there?
Unknown podcaster.
Very well done.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Heidi.
Okay, Sir Robin.
And we're going to continue now.
Thank you for that ringing endorsement
Yes, we really appreciate
Yes.
of last week's
For
show.
last week's show.
Next week's show will be strictly to raise money to pay John Cleese for the fucking letter we're gonna get.
I don't think our 9 listeners are going to cause an impact. 17 listeners are going. 47 listeners are going to cause an. Thank you, Heidi. Good night.
Good night,
Love
Heidi.
you.
Good night, Heidi.
Thank you for interrupting.
Bye.
Good night, man. Enjoy.
Good night.
Bye.
Let me give you a topic.
Okay.
And you
We have
talk
a topic.
amongst yourselves.
We have a topic.
Alright. Talk
did.
amongst yourselves.
Okay.
Then.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Heidi,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
May I,
Yep.
the
may
men
I
are
clarify?
talking.
Yes, sir.
May I clarify that
Yes,
The men are talking.
yes, sir.
my Pink Floyd choice as
Heidi,
top 4
Heidi, I love you.
bands.
I
That
love
is
you.
Pink Floyd post Sid Barrett. Pink Floyd with Sid Barrett can screw all the way off because they
Ooh.
just sound like derivative of the Beatles
Okay.
and that early psychedelic rock crap.
We just lost a listener or two.
But Pink Floyd, after Sid Barrett left, and once
I was
Roger
just
Waters
going to
took
bed.
over as the creative genius that he is, that's the Pink Floyd.
And half the panel just walked out.
Half of them have no clue who Sid Barrett was.
Michael, on your 4 that you listed, do you have anything else to say about those 4?
Nope, I'm good. I think we covered most of it.
Okay.
All right.
I have one real quick thing because you mentioned Queensryche, and this is also a production thing because I think it matters. So, for example, Pink Floyd puts out Dark Side of the Moon, and they don't care. They're doing a concept record. They're not going to put stops in there. They don't care what the record company says. So, if you're playing Us and Them, for example, and you're a radio DJ, you're going to have to fade it out because there ain't no cut. Okay.
Right.
However, Queensryche, who I love, Operation Mindcrime, great record. Now there's a few on there because I know the record company said, "You do okay, but how about a couple radio cuts?" They're like, I don't believe in love. Boom, has a demarcation and has a demarcation at the end, so they don't have to deal with that. So there's also a production and business thing, unfortunately, with some of this.
Well, that's because Queensryche is no Pink Floyd.
Well, agreed.
Mike,
But wonderful, I think.
Also, you brought it up, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yes, sir.
It does pair with Wizard of Oz.
Pretty
Perfect.
First,
It's-
for the
it's
first
side's
half of
pretty
the
solid.
film.
No,
You think the whole thing?
I think the whole
Well,
thing.
The
I
problem
was-
is it's only the first half of the film.
I was usually passed out by
If
the end
you
of
if
the
you
film.
actually hit
Sorry.
play
No,
again,
hold
it
on.
actually does.
We did this
So did I.
in college, of course, back when this was a
Back
thing.
when
Sure, I won't say.
And
I won't say
I
when.
found this for the second half of Wizard of Oz, Pink Floyd's album, The Final Cut, which is lesser known. It's the one that followed The Wall, but it's the last one that Roger Waters was still involved with the group.
Sure.
That album pairs very nicely with the second half of Wizard of Oz. So you do your Dark Side, of course, and then you do Final Cut.
Dirty
Have you
little,
told the internet? Because I haven't seen this
I'm
anywhere.
telling the interwebs right now.
dirty,
Oh, you are.
dirty little secret. I can
Copyright,
probably-
the unknown podcaster.
I can probably get agreement on this. We all agree that good music has good rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Good film editing has good rhythm. Which means if you take any good song and any well-cut movie and put them together, good Lord, this matches so well.
So can we sum it up as all good methods have rhythm?
I think
Yeah.
I think I could get religion on that. Yeah.
Does Pink Floyd also pair with a nice Shiraz?
Oh, that's true. I think
Yes.
you're right. 'Cause,
Yes.
yeah.
A good Shiraz like a Penfolds Grange.
I was,
that's
thinking
what I
more
was
of a
thinking,
white
but-
Zen.
I do have a question for Michael
Yeah,
about
I'm thinking
Queens
Northern
Road.
Rhone.
No, that was him.
No, Queensryche was one of yours.
I mentioned
Or
something
Reese,
about Queen's
or
Road.
Reese.
Okay.
Yes.
Quick question.
Sure.
Are they the ones, and I apologize if I'm wrong, are they the ones that sang Silent Lucidity?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Well done.
I have a friend of mine who was talking about her husband partying too hard one night, and he was drunk. And she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, he was so lucid." And I was like, you know what? I'm just you run with that. You run with
You
that.
don't know what words.
That's fabulous.
You keep using that word.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
All right.
Who's
And
up
that's-
next?
All right.
And
time to
that's
get-
why
time-
no
time-
doesn't mean no.
Time to get
No.
back on track. Next is Dave.
Dave the patient.
Give us your 4 bands and a little something why we
All right,
feel
all right.
turn into chaos.
Fair enough. Fair enough. My first selection is Tom Petty. I've always
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
enjoyed, yes, very much
He
so.
will be missed.
The storyteller aspect, the folk rock, the combination of those two always appealed to me. Again, thank you, Columbia House. And
For only a penny.
thank you for ruining my credits
It's going to be on your
at
permanent
a very
record.
young age. The next one up, generationally, after sifting through a lot of different grunge era musicians, I would have to say Soundgarden tops my list. Again, their albums feel storytellerish and affects you personally and so on and so forth. And I think
Chris
there was,
Cornell.
well, yes, like Honey and Ghost Peppers mixed together.
Yeah.
Just the full range, hit everything.
Good description.
Oh, yeah. I maybe if you'd appreciate that. Honey and Ghost Peppers sounds like a lyric from a Soundgarden
It
song.
does.
I
Yeah,
saw
it
them
does.
in concert.
Yeah. That's the Soundgarden cover
Honey and
band that
Ghost
I'm
Peppers.
creating.
They opened for Taint.
I was going back and forth on the next one before I finish up with the fourth one. I am going to go with Metallica.
Solid choice.
Beyond popular opinion, every album seems to hit the nail on the head. Contrary to popular belief, the mid '90s stuff is still, I think, effective from just rock. I mean,
Yeah.
the kings of rock, whether they cut their hair or not,
That was Run DMC. But
it's still good stuff. My last choice would be Madonna.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a departure.
Yeah, it is, and I gotta say, I love pop, especially women pop singers. Between the Britneys and the Christinas and all that kind of stuff. She was
She's the queen.
The
the
trailblazer.
spearhead
Trailblazer.
to push all that forward. And when you listen to her albums, I think there's an obvious progression into what she's doing. And, you know, I don't know much about production and things of what the record companies are telling her, but she writes songs and she produces songs and she makes great songs. And on top of that, makes great albums. So when you look at her library, that's some really amazing stuff. So I would not mind to put Madonna on my list.
Funny story. If
I
you
respect
look
the
at,
choice.
if you actually look in her library, it's just her book over.
Yeah, I think that book is called.
Wasn't it called
Something.
Sex?
Oh yeah, that was. Yeah.
No,
No, you're
Dave,
absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I stumbled upon the word.
I'm with
Yeah.
you on
Yeah.
Madonna in a couple of ways. One, she was an amazing drummer for the Breakfast Club. Number two, her album Erotica is one of those albums you can listen to front to back in order, and it's a great. You put
And
it
on
on
shuffle.
and you start making out, but yeah, it's that was my go-to '90s.
Well, there you go.
Make out.
For all our listeners, people just moved about 3 feet away from UPC. Just
Which-
it's like,
Oh, side note, UPC is now known as Gorgonzola.
all right.
Can I throw an honorable mention out there?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Of course you can.
Honorable mention would be U2.
oh, okay.
You too?
U2.
Yeah.
Number 5, honorable mention.
I like it.
Thanks for playing. Here's a hearty handshake. But those are my top 4 in the honorable mention to
I
U2.
actually read a news article today that on their tour they're getting ready to start, The Edge is actually having hand surgery, and the guitar player for Evanescence is filling in for him.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Impressive.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael, what you got?
I want to go back to in the conversation that we're having. I want to go back and say an honorable mention for me, which should have been like probably in the 4 versus 1 or 2 of them,
Yeah.
but Prince.
Well, yeah.
Good Lord.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was an easy,
I
it was
know,
an easy
we're
pick,
all
but
kinda-
it was just like,
No, he was. Yeah,
You mean
Yeah,
the
he
artist
was- he
formerly
was-
known as the
he
artist
was-
formerly known
no.
as Prince?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Prince in all his iterations and also known as.
No. You heard the way he said it, right?
I know, I did.
The
I
artist
just,
formerly known as the artist formerly known as Prince.
but that's a great mention. And I also feel like it's part. Way back in the day, I used to do a like a golf fantasy thing, like you do fantasy football.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then when Tiger Woods was in his prime, no one was allowed to pick Tiger Woods because everybody would pick Tiger Woods. So it's like we know he's going to be in there, so no, pick 5 other guys, not Tiger Woods. So and I feel like it's some what we're talking about. Like no one's picked Zeppelin yet. I don't think. I mean, I know there are people aren't Zepp fans, but I think Prince is. There you go. So well, okay, but I think Prince is one of those guys too. It's like, I mean, I might not be picking him because it's like,
Well,
easy to
yeah.
do. Right? Yeah, he's
We're
already on Mount.
probably
He's
not
on,
going to hear Beatles mentioned tonight, and why? Because they're overrated.
okay,
They
well,
are
that's,
historically significant,
kinda
but they're
like Brady.
overrated.
we just lost 2 more listeners.
They don't hold
but
up.
yeah, kind of like
This
Brady.
don't
is
hold up.
this is UPC's last appearance.
But for,
I will be reincarnated as
Quite-
another form of
quite possibly.
Louvain cheese.
it's like this is,
Beatles is
Oh,
my
yeah.
newly
We just-
discovered band.
I'll come back as Humboldt Fog.
it's just as long as it's not Lindbergh. Oh, may I? I'm sorry. Are we?
Yeah, I was done.
I was gonna say something about Dave's excellent picks. Just picking Tom Petty because Tom Petty was amazing for a whole bunch of reasons, and his band was amazing, and it's one of like Jimmy Iovine, who's a big deal producer and runs Interscope and a bunch of other several labels. I can't name them right now. I don't know, but they were huge. And Stan Lynch was a great drummer, and then Stan Lynch leaves, and Steve Ferrone, who's played with everybody, then becomes their drummer. If you know the song "We're an American Band," Grand Funk Railroad, the second verse they mention, or first verse I think, they mentioned Freddie King. Up All Night with Freddie King. I got to tell you, poker's his thing. Steve Ferrone played on a Freddie King album. I mean, Steve Ferrone's been around forever and played with everybody. and Mike Campbell and Tom Petty were this ridiculous duo songwriter thing. So I just think Tom Petty's a great pick for a
All right.
thousand.
That was one of my first albums I
Thousand
ever heard.
Also, don't forget Tom Petty as a Wilbury.
Oh,
True,
yes.
no, exactly.
Yes.
The Traveling
Yes.
Wilburys,
Yeah.
one of the greatest super groups ever,
Agreed.
and
And then just
Petty's involvement in that was very good.
and then as a peace offering, the line from American Girl, which is funny because it's one of those songs where people are like, yeah, Mary, not necessarily complimentary, but
It's
this,
about
but the line
baby
line when
towers.
he says like cars rolling by out on 441, like
Yeah.
waves crashing on the beach.
Yeah.
That's 441 in Gainesville.
Yeah, I know. It's Beatty Towers, the
That's-
dorm where.
I know you know. I was
Yes.
throwing out a nice thing about University of Florida.
Yeah, where,
There you
He
go.
was,
where women go to
extending an
die.
olive. He was extending an olive branch
Where girls go to
from
die.
Pensacola, not
That's,
Greece.
that's what I tried to mention. Oh my
Which,
God!
which
got
one of
it.
those two universities is closer to the taint of Florida?
Miami.
That could be next.
Oh no, no, that would
no,
that would
no,
totally be.
That's the
US.
friend one
Okay,
before.
I
That'd be
realize. Now, there's-
What?
there's- wow, we went.
All right.
That would. Phew.
I
Right.
think.
Since Paul can't shut up.
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I,
Yeah.
just briefly, now that we've hit both Michael and me, and I've opened up the Pandora's box of a fifth band,
Oh, dear.
basically.
No.
Um,
you did an honorable mention.
Honorable mention. Well, as far as Prince goes, and I don't know what all your introductions to Prince were, but unfortunately, mine was the Purple Rain movie, which I didn't understand as a child. I mean, I was just not with it.
Right.
It wasn't until '89 when he did the Batman soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Bad Dance.
Oh yeah.
Bad Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole album hits on all levels.
Yeah. Also.
So then you
And
start
the story.
exploring what the range of this guy is, and then of course we all understand how great of an artist this guy was. But please, Bat Dance.
No, the reason why you didn't get Purple Rain is because you
Because you're stupid.
you were too young.
That's what he
You're
said.
an Under the Cherry Moon generation.
Dude,
that was for you.
amazing.
I was a raspberry beret holding hands with a girl in 7th grade. Like that was okay
Roller
to play.
skating, yeah.
You could play Raspberry Beret. It
you
was
go.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Purple Rain you could play, but you didn't understand the genius of Prince until you got deeper into the
Yeah, because Alphabet
Discology?
Street was written
Right.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get into some of the old stuff.
Last word on Prince. Was that his name? Prince.
His name was Robert
And
Paulson.
you're gonna have to help me out here.
in-depthy is the name.
But the video that we've watched multiple times of him playing with
my-
Tom Petty and
Yeah.
every
My guitar gently weeps on. I think.
who was being
Grannies
inducted
or-
into the
Right. George Harrison was inducted as a Beatle, but then posthumously he was inducted. And the Wilburys plus Steve Winwood plus Harrison's son
And
and,
Prince.
and Steve Ferrone playing drums.
and then Prince
the band.
walks out and plays probably other than, no offense to you old folk, and I'm old folk now, Jimi Hendrix at that small venue concert they had up in New York.
Like
Yeah, I know.
300,
Yeah, that little-
400,000 people.
that little
Something-
amphitheater
that
that he
little
played.
amphitheater, the little muddy,
It was a
Yeah,
field.
yeah, in Socrates.
little muddy
It's like-
parking
It was
lot.
it was named after that Peanuts character, I think.
Yeah. Peppermint Patty. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, wait. Are you talking about Lilith Fair?
But that solo, guitar solo that Prince does in the George Harrison Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Indoctrination, if you haven't seen it,
You got to check it out.
it is. I played clarinet. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's effortless.
As one of our friends would say, amazing.
So I have a podcast plug for another podcast.
No.
Yes. And it's Prince related. This episode of Kevin Smith's Smodcast, you need to find the Paisley Park episode where he is hired by Prince. All I'm going to say is 2 words. Shaka mad.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Look
Do
forward to
research,
checking that
find
out.
it.
All right, so we are moving on to a man who has found his voice.
And we wish he'd put it away.
Paul, before we start, I don't know if I could mention this, if he's fine with it.
We can always edit.
But
But do
there
we
is a very good chance that next week, instead of Paul, you will be meeting Dr. Paul.
Professor Paul.
They're just trying to thank you very much.
Because he's
We'll
asked
see.
about Holiday Inn Expresses to
From
stay in.
He got tired of everyone throwing, everyone having a master, so he's like, I'm doing one better.
God,
Paul, MD.
God willing, the creek shall rise. Yeah, no, if you need a doctor, you don't want to call for me. That's for sure. But
Or an EpiPen.
By the way, Paul, I'm not a doctor. I've never even played one on TV.
well, that's it.
But I recommend Anison.
I'm not one yet either. But tomorrow night, I think I'm staying at a Holiday Inn.
All right, so Paul,
okay,
give us
so-
your 4.
Thank you. And by the way, I would agree with Bill. What I would say about that solo is, it may not be the best guitar solo ever, but you'd be really hard pressed to find one as good. You really would. It's amazing. So my 4, and I'll try to be brief because I've been commenting on everything. I am a total Rush fanboy.
What?
So, yeah, I know. Nobody knows that.
You heard it here first.
There you go. And
And a
so,
drummer.
so right, yeah, that guy. What's his name? So.
How do you get a drummer off your front porch?
Pay for the pizza.
Well done. And then this is recent, and we didn't write this one, but how many drummers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
5.
Correct.
1 to screw the light bulb in, and
Right.
4 to talk about how Neil Peart could have done it better.
That's perfect. Exactly right. Fantastic. Tribute. Rest in peace.
So you know he's a drummer because, folks, just take my word for it. I've seen him hang out with musicians all the time.
Hey, Paul,
That's
while
it.
we're on the subject, what's the difference What's the difference between a drummer and a pig?
Pig won't stay up all night just to get with the drummer.
You could have used screw.
I could have. I was just trying to not. Yeah.
Answered like a drummer.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah.
The whole answer was out of time.
The
There's no
punchline
doubt.
Yeah.
was ghost notes.
All right.
I got no time.
What's your
time.
4,
right,
Paul?
So
Rush.
Rush, boom,
Fresh boom.
Genesis.
I don't know, boom.
Genesis, and the whole catalog. I like the Peter Gabriel part, and I like after that, and then Van Halen and Queen.
Oh, wow.
All 4 of those bands give me everything across the board that I like, because I like heavier stuff than lighter stuff, even though I love UPC's pick of Miles Davis for sure.
Coltrane.
Oh, you just pick. I thought you. Okay,
No,
I'm sorry.
no,
My
he-
bad.
he said
Okay, we
Miles
talked
Davis
about
a
Miles
lot,
Davis
yeah.
at some point. I got you. But all of that. There's lots of music I like, but all of those because I like heavy stuff. Queen did whatever they wanted to, right?
Yep.
Rush was to me the quintessential prog rock band. So was Genesis, except Genesis would step back and they'd do something that would sound more traditional, and they would crush it. And then Van Halen just was like in your face, and we went from Park to Fifth Gear, and just went for it. And they did 6. In my view, with all their records, they probably did 7 or 8 albums that I thought were really just crazy. So that's my dealio.
I would like to point out real quick that Paul thinks that a 5-speed has Park.
Sorry. I was going more metaphorical than literal, but yes. Thank
You
you.
mixed metaphors.
Thank
is what
you.
did. I
My
have a question for you,
automobile
Paul.
and erudite buddy. There you go. Yeah.
Van Halen.
Yes, sir.
Are we talking about DLR Van Halen, or are we
Talking
talking
about
about
all
Van
of it.
Hagar?
We're talking about all of it.
Really, for me, after Hagar, it gets a little dicey.
No, after
I understand.
Roth.
I'm going to give.
It's
But he's giving-
I'm going to
unlistenable.
give
He's
you.
giving you your
I'm
answer.
giving you
Okay.
your answer. So the 6 records they did with Roth are mind blowing. I think. Okay, and then and so what you didn't get from the Hagar era was some of the rawness, but what you did get was a lot of really good music. Hagar is a good guitar player. He is certainly a singer compared to Roth, who's kind of a singer, but really entertaining and smart and clever lyrically, and I don't mean clever in an insulting way, right? There's lots of really good stuff. So the first, 5150, OU 812, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, I think those are pretty good records. I don't know that I like them better than any of the first 6, but I still like them a lot. And it's really hard to get rid of a singer and then bring in another guy. And musically, they improved, I think, generally.
Journey happened to do that.
No, well,
With crazy
similarities
going
it's
on.
It's totally, yeah. And I mean, Journey with Greg Raleigh, and then you bring in Steve Perry, and then
and then the kid from South America.
Right.
That was weird.
Totally
Anyway,
agreed.
yeah.
Agreed. So anyway, there we go.
Love the choices.
Thank you, brother.
Anecdote on the Van Halen stuff. I don't know if you guys did this as a kid, but you had to have a dictionary. The side of the dictionary where the paper pages were pushed together was an obvious graffiti point. Writing DLR on the side of it, and or writing some sort of interpretation of a logo.
Yeah, doing the VH.
Hey,
Really?
oh yeah,
I've never.
really?
Yeah, never
Okay,
seen that.
well,
Interesting.
the same thing as of jotting down a notebook or essentially
100%.
putting all the stickers on there and all that kind of stuff. But yes, DLR was definitely on the side of my dictionary, along with a pentagram
Oh yeah.
upside down
Yeah.
as a 6th or 7th grader.
Well, D&D told us that we needed pentagrams.
Right.
It was all D&D's fault.
But also, in addition to this, 2 drummer jokes. One,
Never too late for those.
how do you know when the drum riser is level? When the drool comes out from both sides of the drummer's face.
Michael, did you have something?
No, second joke.
Second
You had two
joke.
jokes.
Oh, second joke.
What happened when the band locked their keys in the van? The drummer couldn't get out for hours.
That one's new. I have not heard that.
That is excellent.
Last thing,
Yes, sir.
only because I'm not a huge aficionado or very knowledgeable, what's the deal with Rush?
You
What do you mean,
know,
what's the deal with Rush? Have you listened to them?
I mean, I'm going to knock that out while I'm gardening tomorrow. Yes.
But
But
if you are 2112,
right. But we've seen the Rush contingent in a lot of pop culture, especially movies, where
Yep.
it's like, here's Seth Rogen's and the other guy and that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I get it. Guitar Hero, badass songs. I make, yeah. So perhaps Paul can give us some insight onto his initial Rush experience.
I'm happy to. UPC has his hand raised, and I don't want to interrupt him.
I think
Gorgonzola.
I think there's I'm going to admit something, and I have many stories similar to this about how I learned about a certain musical artist through a weird way.
Right.
Do you know? Well, you don't. I'm going to tell you. The way that I first learned about Rush was through Bob and Doug McKenzie, Great White
Oh.
North.
oh yeah,
And
Rush is Canadian.
because Geddy Lee sings on that,
Yeah.
I'm like, who is this?
Yeah.
Who's this Geddy Lee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take off. Hey, who's this?
I think I realized
We can't
something.
afford any more than that. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
But the opening was great because they said that our lawyer called and
It's
he
a
goes, yeah,
beauty way to go.
$10 is $10.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then he
But that's how I actually learned about the existence of Rush. I had no idea because I grew up not listening to rock. I listened to rap
Silly
music, jazz, new age music, all kinds of things like that.
Big
Weird
Yanni
stuff.
fan over
Synth
there?
pop, more Andreas Vollenweider, and
Okay.
and Vangelis, but yeah, Yanni's kind of
Yeah, Michael.
it doesn't matter. But but Rush, my introduction to Rush was through Geddy Lee's cameo on Bob and Doug McKenzie's Great White North. But hey, even a blind squirrel finds an acorn in the woods every now and then.
Yeah, what you got, Michael?
Okay, I wanted to go back to the whole dictionary comment that Dave made. I know he was talking about it with, putting on the pages and stuff like that.
Sure.
But it goes back to one of the reasons why I like Bad Religion also, is because I sometimes had to use a dictionary to find out what a word meant. Because they were the only punk band that I knew that used over 4-syllable words.
Nerd.
Well,
They're also their name is an oxymoron.
Yes,
It's
it is.
redundant.
Like
Yes, it
most,
Not
are
oxymoron.
they
Redundant.
San Diego? No, Orange County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, wherever they're from. Anyway, like a lot of California punk bands, they all have higher education. They all have doctorates and masters and
Offspring.
stuff. Yeah. But no, all those punk bands,
yeah.
Bad Religion, Offspring. There was another one because there was an article I read about why are punk bands in California so educated, and like one of the guys
They
about
come from Florida.
one of the guys
Because
in
they're
Bad
aspiring
Religion-
actors who couldn't get hired at a restaurant.
None of them are actors.
Mr.
They
Brett.
all do a great job, but yeah, a lot of them have doctorates and other postgraduate degrees, which is crazy.
And the other thing that I was going to say is there was someone that mentioned something about, Queen could do anything and everything.
Yep.
And I still, to this day, think that Fat Bottom Girls is a country song.
I think.
Agreed.
I think you might
Don't
have
even
something
get me
there.
started
for
on my project that I'm going to work on with my friend who's a musician.
Because everyone does, when I say that, everyone does the same thing. They're like,
We're going to do
"No,
a country cover album of
and then
Morrissey
then I
songs.
think about it, like, can't argue.
Yeah.
What you got, Dave?
Blair Bear, it's your turn.
It is Bill's turn.
Oh, pardon me.
Is it? Do you?
It is Bill's
Yeah,
turn.
I'm going.
I
I guess I'm next.
I
Go
could do
ahead.
my rush rundown really
Oh,
quickly.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, please.
Three brief things. So first, really ridiculous musicianship. Now other bands have that,
Technical perfection.
but whatever you heard on the record, you went to the concert, you heard it just that way, and you were blown away because you're like, wait, what happened?
Been there, done that.
Second, really, even though they're a prog rock, pretty much everything was driving. And the cool thing is, even if they're playing something intricate, it was still punching you in the mouth. It was just this driving stuff. And then,
That's why I quit going.
well, you're right. It's a violent experience. Then when Neil joined the band, Neil started writing lyrics, and their lyrics have some meaning. Now he sometimes writes lyrics that I think are hard to sing, and so that's a tough job for Getty. But there's meaning. There's meaning in the lyrics, and then they do a really good job, very often, of marrying whatever the lyrics are going for to the music. Right. So now you have this complete thematic thing, and then I guess maybe fourth. Then they're playing all the time, right? And that's how you get a fan base. So I think it's those four things: ridiculous musicianship that you can replicate, songs with some meaning, and then just good driving music. It's just I think
Some
that's
meaning.
I
I
think
mean,
that's
their songs are very
I'm
philosophical.
sorry, I was not selling Neil Short.
You know, Free Will, Tom Sawyer. The lyrics. As much as we hear Tom Sawyer on a classic rock station,
Subdivisions.
that's an amazing song,
Agreed.
musically and lyrically.
I'm with you all the way.
Dave?
Quick comment. Brought up a fucking amazing point. Driving music.
Yes.
And now this can be expanded in another conversation, but you have to have driving music.
Damn straight.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have it.
Well, we did cover that in the preview episode.
But
We-
when
we
you were
did- we
saying
did our,
driving, were you actually
we
talking
did.
about driving a
Our
car, or you were
song-
just
our
talking
cassettes
about
we had when we were
driven? The
kids
song
in
is
the car.
driven.
Right.
Yes, I
Yeah.
was, but
But yes,
I'm going
yeah,
with it.
we-
I understand.
Because
we
there
were-
are moments
I
that you don't
I wanted to.
plan on when you're getting into Atlanta traffic,
Oh.
and all of a sudden,
Crosstown traffic comes on.
well, that or
Offspring Bad Habit once again.
Back in Black comes on, and you're like, I got this.
Okay, I'm all good
This is
now.
this is me right now. Thank you, AC/DC, for bringing
Driving in
me
the sun.
anything better than coffee.
There you
Because
go.
you know, yeah,
I like
Thunderstruck. I got it. I got it.
I like it a lot, Dave.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
fantastic.
going to agree and disagree with that. Obviously,
Oh, that's bad habit.
you guys all have a
that's
kind of a common thread where you are rock
Yes.
fans.
Yes.
And I'm
That
not a
happened
rock
to me
fan.
going into
Right.
Atlanta,
I like some rock,
and I hated everyone
particularly
immediately.
prog rock. I do like, but driving, not talking about driving a
But
car,
all
but
better.
driving tempo and
Sure.
intensity of the music. That's actually really tough for me. I like syncopation. I like a groove. I like things to be. They need to swing.
You like him to
Right.
be groovy.
Smooth grooves.
But
like
when
yacht
you're
rock.
driving a car,
And
that'll
when I'm
put you
driving
to
a
sleep.
car, you know what I like to listen to? Is progressive trance and a continuous techno mix kind of
Wow.
stuff.
Yeah, well, no, that would keep you awake.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I don't like hard rock. I don't. It says nothing to me. It feels nothing to me, and it actually just kind of makes me angry, and I don't like it. It discombobulates me. I don't like it.
That's what it's supposed to do.
And,
That
No,
means
I-
it's working.
No, I don't like it. I like
That means
more.
the medicine works.
And also, I like a band that has some, for lack of a better term, like
Robust.
black influence. I like
Yeah, man.
a
Rhythm and
bass
blues,
line. I
so-
like a swinging rhythm section, and I like that groove. And
Makes sense to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, next time you're in the car and you're pulling on the on ramp, and you tap the Back in Black, and it goes bam, bam, and you push the pedal down. I'm telling you, it's gonna do something for you.
And you're gonna
The
go
problem
faster.
is I'm a road rager, so
Oh,
I
oh,
definitely don't need.
Well, then definitely don't
anything
listen
like
to
that.
Bad
Okay,
Habit.
and just
stick while you're driving.
with
The other
what you
thing
know.
is,
You will.
I
shoot.
can't hear the speakers on my bicycle because of the wind noise.
All right.
Fair enough.
It's time to move on.
Yep.
We still got two more people.
Good Lord.
So,
Right.
Bill,
And one more subject.
give us your 4.
well, I would say this. A couple comments. One, it makes sense now with Paul's explanation that a 5-speed has park, which explains why Sammy Hagar could not drive 55. Secondly, when I'm driving,
I
as
just
a-
want. I want to be the guy who gets paid to do all of his clutch changes.
as a
That'll put my
as
kids
a
through
former
college.
truck driver, what kept me awake was
Eric Clapton.
talk radio, actually,
Oh.
because you had to pay attention.
Not NPR.
Because no,
that would put you
or
asleep.
the CB.
Cocaine.
But I can tell you,
Coast to coast AM.
the song that you don't want to listen to going across a 3-mile bridge is Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster. Because all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I'm going 85. 50. So,
No, here, I got it.
having said that, my 4, and I'm going to have to give a honorable. My 4 would be Genesis / Phil Collins. Although I like the Genesis with Peter Gabriel. I like the fact that Peter Gabriel left them because we got Peter Gabriel's solo career, we got Phil Collins' solo career, and we got Genesis.
We got it all.
Those,
Wow, you just worked 3 into 1.
yeah,
Did.
but
Damn.
it's Genesis.
You manipulate.
Number 2 would be Bare Naked Ladies.
Okay.
Heard them when I was up in Canada and have loved them ever since. They're not just a funny band doing funny songs. They're up there. Number 3, the former lead singer of Men at Work, Colin Hay,
Yep.
whose solo career is unbelievable and just everlasting, just going on and on and on and on. And then my 4th one, I went back and forth, but due to personal reasons, with my son and I, and more of a current, and by current I mean the last 20 years, I picked over Chicago, who was my
Honorable mention.
honorable mention, my wife and I's first song was "You're the Inspiration," not from Karate Kid.
We'll still put it on the playlist.
Is I'm not gonna, I can't do it to you. UPC is Dave Matthews. I like his music. I like his storytelling. I like his cadence. And the Dave Matthews Band, the artists that he played with, from that guy to that guy to that guy, Tim Reynolds to, and I got to see him in concert finally. It was a B concert, I'll admit it. It was inside a Civic Center. It wasn't an amphitheater. It wasn't Red Rocks. It wasn't anything like that. But those would be my four. And my honorable mention would be Chicago, because they've been with me since high school. Especially what I like is knowing Chicago 16 and Chicago 17, but I can also go all the way back to the early days of the Chicago Transit Authority, and before Peter Santana joined them. Peter Cetera, I'm kidding. Joined them, and it was mostly Robert Lamb, and then I can't think of the guy's name, but he was one of the guitar players, and he sings "I'm So Happy," and he sings another one, but "Color My World." You know, does anybody know what time it is? They just had. I love a band
It's
with
about midnight.
brass, which makes me go to Chicago, and Dave Matthews. They've got brass, and Bare Naked Ladies are just, you know, they're just fun, but they've got some serious songs. The one time a bartender canceled my song at our favorite bar, the Spanish Trail and Pub, and Inn, or whatever, it's the Trail, was when I played Bare Naked Ladies,
War on Drugs.
War on Drugs, which has absolutely nothing to do with drugs. It's a suicide song, which, why are suicide songs the best songs ever? But they sure as hell seem to be.
They're good
And
ideas.
I say that looking at the wall with one headlight. So those are my four.
Bill, in reference to Bare Naked Ladies, you said, you know, they're not just a funny band, but even in their funny songs, there's a lot of, like, philosophical realism in there.
There's-
That, One Week is just great for alliteration and imagery and things like that. And If I Had $1 Million,
Oh,
Hey,
I mean,
that's
hold on.
so great.
look, when I real quick, when I heard, okay,
1 second, guys. Dave has to check out. So let's
Yep,
all
yep.
say goodbye to Dave.
Hey,
Bye,
good
Dave.
night, everybody.
Dave.
And just a reminder, if you're 10 years old or older, don't put ketchup on your hot dogs.
There you go.
Oh my goodness!
Excellent.
You missed last week. I defended Chicago dogs and pizza.
Wow.
That's
before-
fine.
Dave,
You don't need
Duh.
to defend either one of those.
Duh.
Like got to do
Well,
that.
no, I
Before-
defended them in New York
And
City
ketchup.
for 6 years,
Oh,
and
okay.
I almost got my ass beat multiple times.
Dave.
Dave, before you go, you want to give us your song you could listen to for 24 hours straight on repeat?
Yes, it's a little-known song, or a little-known band called James. The song is called Sometimes.
Okay.
And if you guys want to take a gander at it later on,
Well,
have at it.
We will
But
definitely put it on the playlist. So
my
people can
perspective
listen
on how to choose this song, I think we referred to earlier before we started recording, is if you're going to be stranded on an island for 24 hours, you need something that you can deal with for that 24 hours. And I feel like this song sometimes hits that note for me. And it's Sometimes by the band called James on the album called Laid.
All
Did
right.
you happen to have a recently discovered? It doesn't have to be a new band, but one that you have discovered in the last 2 years, like the Beatles.
Oh yeah, we yes.
Who?
The other
No, not the Who. It's a different band.
the other question on this would
Third
be
base.
the band called Maneskin. That's Maneskin.
Well played.
It is a fusion of pop and rock, and again, I love the stuff with beats. And I like it kind of dancey sometimes, and that's what it is. But with kind of underpinnings of some rock
It's like
background.
alt pop. Alt pop would be the genre. I
There's
think.
techno
Alt
there,
pop?
too.
Alt pop.
Alt
Right.
pop. Yeah, I'm down with that.
By
Alt
the way,
pop.
for the listeners,
Yeah.
if you're looking it up, it's not Maneskin, it's Måneskin. It's
Oh,
a,
pardon
It's
me.
it's
Maneskin.
A with a
Here in
circle
America,
over
it's
it,
Maneskin.
which is a letter that doesn't exist in English, but it does exist in Swedish. Måneskin.
Where they're from.
You have a bag over your head that comes out Måneskin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dave. We hope to see you next time.
Yes.
Good night, New York.
Dave. Bye, Dave.
All right. Bill, were you done?
There was what Michael was alluding to. What
I was
Michael
getting
was
a-
alluding to about
Pause.
Pregnant pause.
I'm not gone yet. I'm still here.
we have an editor. Man, that Dave's an asshole. I'm glad he's gone.
He's always leaving. He's never gone.
What
Wow,
Michael was
you hit the
alluding
nail on
to-
the head right there, Gorgonzola.
You're gonna be Lindbergher next week.
Bare Naked Ladies' first song, obviously, I think anybody at all ever heard of them was "If I Had $1 Million."
Yeah.
And back in my trucking days, and I'm in Canada, I heard them and a couple other bands up there, the Northern Pikes, the Grapes of Wrath, the Crash Test Dummies.
Oh yeah.
Canadian bands.
I like them.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the
And
PhD
and I
in
got a
philosophy.
great idea in my head that I would move down to the States and I would produce these guys. And then one day I'm driving across the George Washington Bridge into New York, and I hear on my radio on my truck, "If I Had $1 Million." So I was like, somebody beat me to it.
And you don't have $1 million.
And I have $20 if I'm lucky in my wallet.
That's for
Well,
XLR.
well, Bill,
That's budgeted for XLR kids.
Well, I saw them in concert too.
I know you were up in Canada, but I think the first one that I heard down here was 1 week.
Oh, well, this was, say, 87. I don't remember the year the song came out, but they have a repertoire that is, again, yeah, they got the funny songs and they do funny concerts, but they have some serious songs. They have a song that's about photojournalists and journalists during the Desert Wars.
Yeah.
They have a song about. They have a lot.
Yeah, they're good songwriters and they write thoughtful music, and sometimes the thoughtfulness is making you laugh a little bit, and sometimes it's making you think a lot, and sometimes it's doing a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Can't ask for more, I don't think.
The
And-
wars that you're talking about, is that the wars between creme brulee and tiramisu?
No, they were the Desert Wars.
Oh, I'm
not.
sorry.
You're thinking of
One S.
2 S's. Yes.
No.
Or the Great Chocolate War.
No, two
Dessert.
S's is
The
dessert.
way you remember that is you only want 1 desert, but you want 2 desserts.
There you go. Well played. By the way, just for our listeners, because it's hard to tell, Dave is now left, so if you wanted to say something about him, now's the time.
Yeah.
Such a great guy.
But you know what? Because it's the men are talking, we're not going to be catty like that. Here's I just want one thing.
Wow.
My four
They're
musical
what half
artists.
our audience.
I know, right? Jeez.
My four musical artists, I was allowed to explain about John Coltrane. Obviously, Pink Floyd. I clarified that.
Sure.
Steely Dan.
No,
I mean, come on.
yeah,
They whatever.
Later.
But A Tribe Called Quest.
Yes.
Because-
that's for later. Let's let everyone get through their things, and then we can go. into
Haven't
that
we?
more.
I thought we'd done
No.
No, I haven't
that.
done
Oh,
mine.
I'm sorry. I'm totally sorry. I did
Man.
not- I
Good Lord.
I mean, how are we going
I
to find out about ABBA and
Celine
Barry
Dion.
Manilow,
Are you
and
knocking-
Celine Dion?
Celine
Are
Dion.
are you knocking ABBA?
Not at all.
All right,
I
good.
thought
All right.
that was going to be.
In the heyday, I would
When
have liked
Heidi
to.
interrupted, I thought she would have a hairbrush in her hand pretending
Okay.
to sing ABBA.
Good.
But at this point, it's
'cause-
only
Air
it's
Supply.
only
Because if you were knocking ABBA, we're
No,
going
it's
to
only Hotel California.
ABB or BBA.
And so I didn't
Yeah.
want that to happen.
Yeah,
Because
the hairbrush is
Agneta
Air
are in
Supply.
are in peace.
R&B.
So Larry,
Agneta, I
Yes.
loved you. I
My-
loved you, girl.
my music. Well, that was easy for me to say. My musically erudite friend.
Yes.
What have you to say?
All right.
No, Frida.
So-
sorry.
First band, which is really weird that I'm sitting around with a bunch of men over the age of 40, and I'm the last one to go, and I'm the first one to say Tool,
No.
which, according to the internet, every man over 40 loves Tool.
Not I.
Didn't say I don't love Tool.
I know,
Okay.
but they are
You're a
by far one of my favorites.
There you
I
go.
like
I think
Tool.
there's
Ma-
a
Ma-
there's a
Maynard's
35
voice-
As a
to
mechanic, I
35
love
to 45
Tools.
is that threshold
Well,
range.
Maynard's voice and their timing changes and just everything about it is amazing.
And Maynard
Um,
James Keenan, an enophile par excellence.
I have
that
a bottle.
That gentleman
I have a
knows
bottle
his
from
wine.
his second year.
I've never tasted the wine that from his winery,
I
but
have a
this
bottle
guy
and-
loves and knows wine. He
I
is
have-
no dilettante.
Well, I have a bottle. If we get if we make it to 1,000 subscribers, we will open that bottle
Well, I'm gonna
on
create a
air and
bunch
we
of-
will drink it.
I'm gonna create a bunch of fake accounts.
Whatever it
He
takes.
didn't- he
dude.
didn't say how we
Whatever
got
it
there.
takes. My second, which I will admit that a friend of mine introduced me. Well, didn't introduce me to the band. Asked for their album for his birthday, and I made fun of him for it. Because at the time I was metal or nothing. Metal or nothing. And that album was Pretty Hate Machine by Nine Inch Nails. And bought it for him, and he was like, well, I'm going to play it. And we were like, fine. And he played it and completely changed my outlook on music. That made me expand my horizons, which caused other things to change, like an entire genre of music that I shut off and pretended like was just terrible because it wasn't metal, which is 80s new wave,
I knew it.
which is
So it
like
was
my
you.
favorite.
You abandoned us.
I did. I was the one, and I made fun of the kids who listened to The Cure. And on May 10th, I'm going to see them for the second time.
There we go. Nice.
You
Can,
turncoat.
can
Yes.
I interject with there?
Yeah.
Because UPC asked about liner notes. And I think Pretty Hate Machine was the one album, the first album where I actually was like, where did this come from? So I'm looking at the liner notes, and then I see Nine Inch Nails is Trent Reznor, meaning he did all of that himself,
Everything.
accompanied all of it.
Yep.
And then he went to thank, I'd like to thank these people, his influences, musical. There was Killing Joke, there was Prince, There was just a lot of
Gary
bands
Newman.
There was a lot of bands that I did not even know of at the time.
Yep.
Oh, it's
But
definitely a Gary
but
Newman
the
influence.
the Prince one shocked me. But then I listened to it again, and I'm like, oh no, I get it now. I see
Yeah.
it a lot
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are your other
So-
two?
My third is Maximum the Hormone.
Okay.
They are
Never heard.
they're a Japanese band.
Who?
Maximum the Hormone. If any of our listeners have ever seen Death Note,
I have.
they do the
Listeners, sorry.
the opening and closing credits, season 2, I believe.
That's a,
They are amazing, amazing. And then number 3 is
that was number 3.
or sorry, number 4 is Amigo the Devil.
Yeah.
Now, I discovered Amigo the Devil. Someone played the. No, I was listening to my daughter's Spotify by accident. And. I didn't
Quotation
realize-
marks by accident.
Well, no, I didn't realize I wasn't logged into my account because we share playlists.
You just wanted to see
So-
what the kids were up on.
No, so I played one of my playlists, and when the playlist was over, I'm driving in the car. When the playlist was over, Spotify continues playing stuff.
I thought that was just a special subscriber level.
Well, it is.
Okay, gotcha.
Are you plugging Spotify?
Yeah, money. Well, they are our host for the podcast.
Damn it.
But anyway,
Read the
Anyway,
contracts, UPC.
so a song came
I'll
on.
be dead next week. It's
Song came on. I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to the lyrics, and the lyrics are. We won't say romantic in the
Traditional sense.
romantic in the Morrissey sense.
Nope. More non-traditional than Morrissey. No. And
Oh, like
Larry,
butt stuff.
Larry,
No.
Larry, what are
No.
some of the titles of songs that he has?
Oh, let's see. Well, Hell in You is the song I was talking about, which is mine and my wife's song.
Clarification: is it hell in you or and you?
And You.
Very good.
And the Cocaine and Abel.
Fantastic
Great
name.
song.
Well, that's a great
I
play on
hope your
words.
It's a great
husband.
song.
I would listen to it
It's a
just
great
based
song.
on the title.
Yeah.
I hope
At
your
least
husband
once.
dies.
I Hope Your Husband Dies. Another great one that I dedicated to Bill's wife.
Oh, this is Amigo the Devil.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought we were still on like Trent Reznor
No.
stuff.
No.
Like, yeah, sorry.
And Murder at the Bingo Hall.
Fantastic song.
Which if any of you know Amigo the Devil, please ask him because we would like to know if that was written on a bet. Because it doesn't matter if it was, it's amazing.
Amazing.
Incredible songwriting. It's an incredible song. He wrote a song about going and playing bingo, and it's a great song.
It's compelling.
yes.
Also,
yes.
Makes me
no
want to play
pun
bingo.
intended.
Well,
Right.
it
No
is
pun
Wednesday
intended,
night.
it's
We're
a
gonna
bit
play
triggering.
bingo.
Gotta play bingo. That's fantastic.
Triggering.
No pun intended. It's a bit triggering.
Murder
so,
at the
if
Bingo
any of
Hall.
you,
Triggering,
killing
if any of you
No.
It is not.
It's not triggering.
His weapon is the dabber.
okay.
Sending everyone to bingo heaven. Oh, we gotta pay for that.
No, you.
No, it's a reference.
I believe that's
we
fair
put
use,
the proper.
But, you know,
Yeah.
if you're one of those,
Yeah, there's not any actual
if you're one of
murder
the
going
10
on.
million kids who
Although,
experience
although
school-related violence,
there is one of the greatest lines ever written as far as the
yeah,
delivery
yeah,
goes. One of the greatest lines ever written, which is, "Someone should call the cops. I'm killing it."
It is. It's fantastic. No, and disclaimer, if you're listening and your favorite song is Jeremy because it's just like you when you're in school, don't listen to Murder at the Bingo Hall. How about that?
wait, what's
Oh.
the new? What's the new three number thing for suicide hotline and things like that? It's
Not
like
9
811 or
nine-
some shit. I don't
nine-
know.
988?
But we should research that because I have a feeling we're going to need to announce that.
426-857-391 444-88.
No, it's plus 001.
Yeah, I was waiting for the
Wait,
IT
what's
crowd.
the
No, that's
the
what you-
Jonestown?
Oh, I don't know. How? hungover in Jonestown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Which-
The number is
Yeah.
988.
Yeah.
988.
Yeah.
So
988.
Death is the punchline.
Yeah. Yeah.
On a
Life,
serious
life is a
tip,
joke.
if
Death
any
is
life
a
is
joke.
a
if
joke.
anything we say triggers you, call 988.
Well, we're not gonna be triggering anybody. But yeah.
Our only
No.
audience is like Gen Zers now. Apparently, I don't know.
No, we're 50-50 Gen Z, Gen X.
Well, because millennials can fuck off.
Hey, wait, there are 3 of those.
Oh,
But
there's.
anyway,
By
I
the way,
wish
my-
there were only 3 of
Right.
them.
By the way, my Jeremy comment was in no way insulting to our beloved Michael.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
okay.
Keep your eye on him.
Yeah.
So,
Jamie's got a gun. All
all
that
right,
stuff.
guys. So, just as I suspected, we are running
I
a
got a
little
fast
long.
No, but
So-
keep going.
No, we are going to keep going. But what I want to do is we're going to kind of go a little
We'll
faster.
edit all the Dave stuff out.
No, we won't.
We weren't being catty, remember?
If we're going to edit anyone out, it's going to be the unknown podcast.
Once we-
Who's going to be
You
dead
don't
next
have a
week
name.
anyway?
Once we cut out UPC, we're gonna have plenty of time.
Touche.
So the next question I had prepared for the evening, which you kind of got a preview with Dave because we made him answer the other 2 questions before he left, is what song could you listen to on repeat for 24 hours and not get sick of it? And we're going to start with Bill this time.
I chose for this song a long song, which is 10 minutes and 4 seconds in its full version. It's by Genesis, and it's called Driving the Last Spike.
Oh, great song. Great
Now,
Building the
when
British Railroad.
off the album, yeah, I know. You wouldn't think, wow, a song about railroad builders. You wouldn't think that that would be a cool song, but it really is a cool song. And it's off the We Can't Dance album. And I remember as the son of a fundamental Baptist preacher, when I bought the album, and I see the last song, I think it's the last song on the album, is called Driving the Last Spike. I assumed it was a religious reference.
Yeah, I could get that coming from your point of view.
Yeah, and then I heard the song, and what I like about it is, number one, if I had to listen to it for 24 hours, it's 10 minutes long. So I'm cutting way back on the number of times I have to listen to it. But the other thing about it is, it's kind of like 3 or 4 songs in one. The cadence changes, the tempo changes. It starts out as a sad ballad, and it ends up a sorry, I can just hear the anyway. It ends up as a triumph song. You know, it starts out just
No, you're not talking about the band Triumph.
no,
No,
or
Triumphant.
Triumph,
Or the insult dog?
comic insult dog. No.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about him.
No, it starts out very sad, and it ends where they've taken control and da-da, 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 da-da.
I thought you meant it ended for him to poop on.
Yeah,
It's a great song.
so that was my song.
All right. So I'm going to go next and give you a little background about why I did this when I picked my song. Is because I've actually done this. A friend of mine and I, who were roommates, we decided that there was a song that we both thought was good. And we were like, I don't think I can ever get tired of this song. And we were like, well, let's do an experiment. So we put it on repeat and played it for 24 hours. And to this day, I love this song. So I know that I can do this.
Stockholm Syndrome much?
Yeah. Well, the song is Glycerin by Bush. Like I said, I've actually done it. it's just the lyrics are amazing, the music is amazing, every bit of it is, it's a great song. Everything about it is, for lack of a better word, perfect. And you can listen to it just over. I challenge everyone to do this.
Next viral challenge.
You can listen to it, and every time it's perfect. The only thing that happens after a couple hours is you can't stop singing along. That is the only downside of the experiment that we discovered.
It's like sing along with Mitch.
It's a good sign, actually.
No, about 2 hours in, we ended up like Heidi talking about her friend, and we're standing in the middle of the living room, pretending to hold microphones, singing. And that was the worst thing that happened about it. Well, that and having to, after 24 hours, go to sleep and then go to work the next day. That was not fun.
So my question for you
Yes,
is,
you
were
can
you awake for the 24 hours?
awake for
and
the 24
why?
hours? All right.
It was
so
an
Because
this,
if you're going to be awake
This was
for
the
24
experiment.
hours straight and listen to the same song, is this a coke bender? Is this an acid trip? Are you just an insomniac? Like, what's going on? Because that's going to change what song
Okay.
you would choose.
well, this was in 1994.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there was a little
only things you
thing.
can divulge.
There was a little thing that was invented, and
Five room.
released to people called the internet. And there was a certain part of it that was really popular at the time called IRC, Internet Relay
Relay
Channels.
chat. Yep.
And
Joe.
yeah, and we would basically stay up forever talking to people all over the world in silly little rooms where we pretended to be vampires or vampire killers or my buddy had his own room where everyone who came into it had to pretend to be a GNU.
Like Gary Gnu?
Like Gary GNU.
No GNUs is good GNUs.
Exactly. And the not title, but the phrase under the title was, "I have GNU-like reflexes."
I'm so,
So
glad
what
you
you're
asked this
saying is
question.
the internet created something to inculcate a younger generation with what old ham radio operators do all night long, catching those propagation waves
100%.
on their
100%.
HF bands, and they're going
100%.
Talking to
It was ham radio over
Argentina.
phone lines.
Come on back, truckers, and talk.
no, that's
Yeah. No, it was ham radio.
yeah, it
over
was ham
phone
radio
lines.
over IP.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That,
Wow.
and so that's mine. So Paul.
Okay, well, so because of my Rush fanboydom, you're not surprised, but I, so my song that I could listen to for 24 hours is Red Barchetta, which is, it's hard to pick a favorite, but on the Moving Pictures record, but this is a song they wrote in 1980. The record comes out in February 81, but it was, the lyrics were inspired by Neil reading a story in Car and Driver about the future when combustion cars are outlawed.
Oh, which
Oh,
is
you mean-
coming.
Ring
You
a
mean-
bell?
You mean California?
Right. Okay, so this right, and so in the future you can't have one. So the song is about this younger guy who goes out and visits his uncle who has a combustion car, a beautiful red Barchetta. I'm sorry, a brilliant red Barchetta. And then him
Not in the
out
song.
and him outrunning the air cars that are the gendarmes, the police chasing him down. And the beautiful part to me about the song is there's this great marriage between the lyrics and the music. The guitar kind of sounds like a car driving. It fades in and fades out, and the last line is "To dream with my uncle by the fireside." It's gorgeous, and it's hard to play. And so listening to all that with the lyrics and all that just makes me feel good. And it's I don't forget. I think it's 6 minutes and 36 seconds, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not short. So there you go.
And it's a love song to cars.
The 100%.
I mean,
Well, Gary
We're-
Newman did.
Oh, stop.
no. Gary Newman did a song
The
about
best
being
one.
afraid of everybody's and hiding in his car. No, which is still an amazing song. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong. But Red Barchetta is a love song to cars.
100%.
It's the feeling you get when you've got a V8 and you're driving down and just yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Like a straight six or a V12 or a V8.
But that's because you don't want to go fast.
Can
No.
We're talking about going fast.
I throw in quickly my honorable mention?
Yes.
So my honorable mention band would have been or is Cheap Trick, and
Oh.
and as straight ahead bands go, just I think remarkable band, long career, really good songwriters. The band Bunny Carlos has had health problems, but the three original members, bass, guitar, singer, are still a band. Just pretty remarkable, I think, A to Z with what they were able to do.
I saw them at Springfest.
They're
I saw
just
them open up for Stone Temple Pilots,
remarkable, I thought.
which should have been the other way. But
And the
I saw the Meat Puppets.
and when I tried to play,
Pilots.
when I kept trying to play drums to my record of Live at Budokan, when Robin Zander says, "I want you to want me," well, I put the needle down so many times it skipped. So my record just says, "I want you to want," and then Bunny comes in. Boom, boom, but there's no me. There's no me. It's just, "I want you to want," boom, boom.
I always call that the algebra song.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the transitive property. I A you to A me, I B you to B me, I see you to see me.
So that's like a corollary of the logical song by Supertramp.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You can't have the algebra song without the logical
you can't.
song.
Well, technically you can, because people can still do math who have no idea of logic, just because
And
they
vice-
follow the rules.
and vice versa.
There you go.
All right. So, Michael,
Ba-dum-bum-bum.
let us hear it. The song you could hear for 24 hours straight on repeat.
Now, I had a hard time with this because I
Because
do
you
not
haven't
know.
done it.
I don't know if there is one song that I can
Right.
listen to 24 hours
'Cause
on
you
repeat
haven't
That's
done
the
without getting
problem.
sick.
That's the crux of the
However,
That's
because
why,
it
that's
is-
why this was a
this
cheating
is not.
question for
It is
me.
not a. It's not. It is if there was one. So if there was one, I would have to say "Paint It Black" by Rolling Stones.
What?
Yep.
"Paint It Black" by Rolling Stones.
Yeah. I
Wow.
get that.
Well, there's like several reasons for this, and
Ducks around
it
here.
was the theme song to a show called Tour of Duty. It was
Yep.
about Vietnam.
Which was an
And
amazing show.
It was an amazing show, and my uncle was in Vietnam, and he said it was probably the most realistic portrayal.
So was my dad. He said the same thing. We had to watch it every week.
Yep, and I watched it with. He would tape it, and we would watch it on the weekends when I came over.
Also, the first time I heard that song,
Same. And so I heard it, and then I heard it throughout the years, and it's probably still my favorite song to this day, because I love the song, the reminder of my uncle, and I just thought it was a very dark and very just brooding song and things like that. And then probably about 6 years ago, I heard a line or two lines in there that I had never really realized that I heard before. And it changed my outlook on the song. So the line was, "I see a line of cars and they're all painted black, with flowers and my love never to come back." And then I was like, holy shit,
Yeah.
this is a love song.
yeah, yeah,
This is a love song.
yeah.
And I think I might have liked it more after that. But I was kind of angsty, so therefore I was like, oh, this song is great, it's so dark. And I'm like, wait, what? It threw me for a loop.
Yeah, when we were watching it when Tour of Duty first started, and it wasn't like for like 3 episodes that I approached my dad. I was a party game to my dad for his when he'd do his shop parties. He would bet people that I could guess what song it was before they could,
Nice.
and it would be like their music, not
Name
mine.
that tune.
I played
Yeah.
that. I played that with my brothers and sisters.
But I mean, I'm guessing you bet money. Might have just been beer. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
Beer and money are both fungible.
so that's always been kind of one of those things that I've been doing since I was a little kid. But the third episode was when I finally decided to ask my dad, and I said, "Is this the Animals?" And without making me feel bad, because that made him so proud. Because it sounds like an Animal song.
It does.
It did.
It does.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Actually, it's the Rolling Stones. But I can't tell you how proud I am of you
That's awesome.
for thinking this was an Animal song."
It's early Stones, and
Yeah.
also the recording quality was not so good on that particular track, that tune,
Right, right.
and it sounds older than it is because of the shitty tape that it was
Right.
recorded on.
Unfortunately,
But-
yes.
Yeah.
That
No, it added to it.
It
Yeah,
adds to it. I get
Well, or-
I did not think it
it
was.
does-
It does or
to
it
me.
doesn't. It depends on
No, it
your,
does to
your
me.
angle.
Okay.
But,
It does to me. I'm not one of these people that everything has to be crisp. If you don't want it crisp, don't make it crisp.
You mean like a
I
Rush
don't wanna
fan?
hear it.
You mean like a Rush fan?
or a Steely Dan fan.
Okay. Just for the record, I am a huge Rush fan.
No doubt.
From the day I was at one of my dad's shop parties in a park on an Air Force base, and I heard blasting out of the window of one of the barracks, Tom Sawyer. I was like,
What?
and I was probably maybe 10.
Can I just?
11.
I just want to say I am so proud of you that you were excited about Tom Sawyer when you were 10.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the first time I ever heard Tom Sawyer,
He was more of a Huck
really,
fan.
I was like, "What is this? This
Yeah.
is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good."
No, it didn't make it. It's what listening to a couple Rush albums in the late '70s made me want to play drums.
Yeah. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Oh,
It is
okay.
time for the unknown
So-
podcaster.
So for
For the
the
series.
the question of what would you want to listen to for 24 hours, we've kind of hinted at this. Why are you up for 24 hours?
I
Is this
told you why.
something I want to listen to on a 24-hour coat bender, a 24-hour acid trip, or just being awake for
Or
24
just a
hours?
theoretical question.
And also, why do I have no other choices? Why am I stuck with this?
Dave said it.
Dave
You're
said
stuck
it,
on a
you're stuck on an island.
deserted island, and
Well,
all you
yeah,
have is
for
that
help.
one thing.
So you're not going to sleep
Yeah.
in case a ship passes by.
Right, in which case you would want some instructional record on how to do
No, you
all
don't.
this lamp
Can I-
signaling
can I
No,
make-
you
and
don't.
Morse
You- no,
code.
you don't.
Can
You
I-
just want to
But-
stay awake.
Can I make this
But-
slightly more vivid for you then?
Let
You're on a
me-
desert island. The only thing that washed up is a suitcase. In the suitcase is a CD player. You're hoping that there's a particular CD in there with a particular
Okay,
song,
it
because you can
doesn't-
only play one track.
Yeah.
And there's also some
Stuck.
peanuts in there, so you're going to live for a few days.
As long as
you
there's
got at
not
least
a goddamn
24 hours.
shuffle button, I'm fine.
Pick a song, go. No shuffle button.
Oh, it would.
But there
make-
is bass boost, so it's only gonna last for
It's
8
only-
hours.
Right, exactly. So I've got this Discman with a jammed in CD, and what I'm going to listen to is John Cage's 4 minutes 33 seconds.
That's the name
That's
of
the
the
song?
album or the song.
Yep.
All right.
John Cage's 4 minutes 30.
Paul, do you please tell me you know this one?
I think
He's
I know.
probably
what
the only one.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not
thinks.
positive.
John Cage,
Yes.
the avant-garde,
Yes. Yes.
Like
And I'm
late
not.
20th century.
I'm not really a big
Wait,
avant-garde
do
dude.
people
Okay.
call him Johnny?
The sheet music for the most people assume that 4 minutes 33 seconds is literally a silent track of music for 433, but really it has sheet music, and it's nothing but rests, and what it is and people have performed this. But
So
the
is
whole
it
point of
silent?
it,
So
the whole
it's-
point of
is
it's
it
silent.
silent?
It's silent. But it's not silent because the actual intent of it is a performance where someone walks out to a piano, sheet music, rests, They don't touch the keys. They don't
play
do
any
anything.
notes.
But there's ambient sound because it's in
Okay.
a
Yes.
place.
That's not. What
I thought
it
my
was.
thing would be
Not on a
met,
desert
but I
island.
didn't realize you guys were so fucking ignorant of avant-garde music of the 20th century.
Hold on
We
a
have-
second.
well, we-
Fuck me.
We
for
have
that.
Well, we have taste, so
No,
And
no,
there's-
it's groundbreaking.
Gorgonzola,
It's
Gorgonzola,
fucking.
hold on a
dude,
second.
no, but that's a very
It's-
interesting pick.
It's
I-
Duchamp. It's
no,
the
no.
Duchamp
I
of
got you.
music.
Yeah, no,
It's-
no, that's
no,
it's
that's
a good
brilliant.
hit.
It's a great
Now,
pick.
Is
my
Duchamp
other pick,
similar to douchebag?
my other pick is going to be "So What." So What
So what?
by the Miles Davis Quintet
Cool.
or Sextet, sorry, off of the album Kind of Blue.
Yeah.
That
Brilliant.
That tune, it's not a song because there's no lyrics, it's a tune, is so good. And it also includes John Coltrane,
Right.
who is one of my top 4.
I thought we weren't gonna
artists.
trigger anyone.
But it is so good, and it
Feelings
contains
triggered.
what I declare firmly is the greatest cymbal crash ever in the history of music.
I'm gonna have to review that.
Well, no, we watched it earlier, and he is correct.
It
I
is
believe you.
so
It
good.
really was.
I believe
really
you.
good.
I would
Yeah.
Do
like
you have a question?
It's
Michael?
not so much of a question, more of a comment, and it's like what you were talking about the 433.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of it before.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard it,
Well, you can't.
but I knew it existed.
You can't.
I just
hear it.
never knew what it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't
It's-
hear it.
Well, but that's the thing. People who don't really get the project, the art project of what he was doing,
Hey, the
think
only-
it's silence. It's
the-
not.
the only
It's
project-
someone actually walks out, sits at a piano, opens the lid, has the sheet music, and they actually turn the pages.
Yeah, so
and
It's
they're
all-
counting
it's
in
all
their head.
ambient, yes.
Well,
Sounds.
the-
And they're
the
going
only project I
bar by
listened to
bar,
was the one
whatever, measure by
Alan
measure,
Parsons did.
and they are,
Was his
and they're
name-
it's rests.
Was his name
But there's audience.
Banksy?
There's
No,
audience.
it was Robert
well,
Paulson.
But Banksy is kind of in the same, same
Genre.
cheeky.
I spilled paint on a canvas.
It's an interesting.
Oh, no, that's
Banksy,
not Banksy.
Duchamp,
It's
It does.
a
John
very
Cage.
thinking
They're all
it's
Pollock,
an
Jack
interesting,
Pollock.
insightful choice.
and in the late
Not art.
50s or whenever he did it, I don't remember the year, but I think it's late
spilled
50s.
paint on a canvas.
It's
In
fucking
E minor.
mind blowing,
Right.
and it's also iconoclastic. It's essentially
Oh, 100%.
a big middle finger to the establishment, the art patron establishment, all that
That's
shit.
what you would listen
Where
to for
it was-
24 hours.
Yeah, because it's quiet.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's not nothing.
Because think about it, if I chose my favorite song and I had to listen to it for 24 hours straight on a loop, I might not like it anymore.
That
then-
was the,
I don't
that
wanna
was
risk
the,
that.
It's not that good.
That was the entire point of the
It's
thought
like-
process.
That was the
yeah,
point
it's
of
like
it.
why.
That was
it's
the
like
point.
getting married.
Yeah, but that was the point
I
of
love
the
this gal,
process.
but now that I'm stuck with her, I don't really love her
You
as
know,
much anymore.
And Heidi interrupts again.
That's fantastic.
All right, so we're
I'm
gonna
just
we're
providing a different perspective on the whole
gonna,
thing.
you are. So we're
For
gonna
better
move
or for
on
worse.
to the last section. I will admit, I kind of thought that we were gonna have to put in a bunch of filler.
No, of
we're not
course
going
not.
to.
I told you this was
So
gonna run long.
we're gonna start with Michael this time. Our last question is: name a band that you have discovered in the last 2 years that you want everyone to know about.
And with band, we were saying musical artist or band.
Correct.
Yeah, certainly.
100%.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So
artist.
the
Why
one,
certainly?
the one I am really digging on right now is Connor Price. He's more of a, I would say rap artist, but he's more than just a rap artist, but rap is what he predominantly does.
Can you name a song?
Spinning.
Spinning?
Spinning.
Okay.
And he uses like a lot of like non-typical instruments as well. Like he has a mandolin on one of his tracks.
Nice!
He has
The greatest instrument ever.
I know we're not supposed to be on the table, but
So-
I'm so glad you said man.
Serenity now! The worst
uses-
instrument ever known to
All right,
human
UPC Hush,
existence.
come on. We know your opinion on this. The audience doesn't, but they do now.
Fuck
Also,
yeah.
like he does a flute and things, but he also does
Oh, I
another
like the
thing
Oz
too.
flute.
He also does another thing that I think is very cool. Is he will take and he will he does all his own stuff. He produces everything. He does TikTok videos and stuff like that. But one of the albums that he did, it was called Spinning the Globe, and he took a globe and he goes, okay, he spins it and he points and he puts a finger down. Wherever his finger lands, he finds an artist from that area and invites them to like perform on his music.
Oh, great.
So
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that the other night.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really cool because
That's cool.
and
Yeah.
not only that is they're performing on his songs, but they also do it in their native language as well.
Right.
On some. So
Yeah.
Like,
Is-
say,
is
say
that-
the name. Say the name again. I'm sorry.
Connor Price.
Connor Price.
Is
He was
that
actually
where
also
he-
an actor too, like when he was younger.
Is that where he spun the globe, he put his finger on it, hit a desert island, and there was this guy there listening to the same song for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time Connor Price ever did a cover. Because it was the only song the guy knew.
But you've never heard it. You've never actually heard it because it was John Cage. It was 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence.
Excellent.
All right, so unknown podcaster.
It's not radio friendly.
Unknown podcaster. What's your band
No.
that you've discovered in the last?
Okay, so I have.
He has
This is-
5.
This
No,
is
he
what
has
surprises
3,
me. No, this is what surprises me. I'm going to pick one to
Mhm.
talk about, but I'm just going to briefly plug the others so that our listeners can check them out.
Sure.
Sure.
Mal
Absolutely.
E. Mendoza. Mal M-A-U E. Mendoza. They're I believe they're from Mexico.
That's who you're
Great.
picking?
No, I'm just naming some. A couple of others are a little bit outside the
You do your
2-year
pick
window.
first.
And then
No,
Mao
no,
Say
no.
Tongue.
A
He's,
couple
he's building up.
are
Yeah.
outside the 2-year window. I only recently, but outside of 2 years, became aware of Annie St. Vincent. And St. Vincent is absolutely
Right.
talented,
Yep.
crazy talented, and
Agreed.
covers like multiple genres.
Agreed.
So good. Another one is Wet Leg from the Isle of Wight. They are actually very new.
Why does it always come down to color with you?
White.
I don't know what that means,
Not-
but okay.
If I wanted to say white,
White.
I would have pronounced the H because
Isn't Cool Whip?
there's a fucking H in it.
Isn't Cool Whip white?
Yeah.
It's
How
white.
long have you been waiting on that?
For a long time. Anyway, so okay,
Herb.
so we got Maui Mendoza, we got St. Vincent, of course. Oh, War on Drugs is another one that's outside of the 2-year window, but I only relatively recently, like 3 years ago, discovered them. They're
Count.
All right,
they're really
all right,
good.
All right,
War on Drugs. I'm talking about things for the listeners
Got
to
you.
check out.
I got you.
But the one that I'm going to pick is Magdalena Bay. It's a male-female duo from Miami. A couple of young Jewish kids from Miami, and they have a remarkably wonderful alt-pop sensibility. They're very influenced by like 80s synth pop, and they do some very low budget green screen videos that are cheeky and fun, but their music is tight. They have something to say. They have musical skills. Apparently they've been working for 4 years or so.
That's awesome.
But I only discovered them in the past couple of years, and they really are great alt pop, indie pop, and they have that 80s synth pop sensibility. They also cross some genres a little bit. They have some different recordings that are,
Excellent.
a different style, right?
Gotcha.
But they are really, really, really good.
Michael.
And their lyrics are smart,
What you got, Michael?
clever. Go
I
ahead.
stepped out for a minute, but did I hear you say St. Vincent?
Mm-hmm.
I really like St. Vincent.
Yeah,
So
technically,
I was-
I discovered
I
St.
heard it
Vincent
through the wall,
outside
so-
the 2 year,
okay.
the
Yeah,
2
he was
year
Right, he
prime.
was trying to say that. Okay,
framework.
I just wanted to
But I do
make
wanna
sure that I
plug
heard that
St.
right, because I
Vincent.
thought it was in there, and that actually surprised me. But
Yeah, Andy St.
Continue.
Vincent is
All right.
immensely talented.
So now that UPC has had his turn, Paul.
So this is an older band, but I just discovered them recently. They're called Porcupine Tree. They've actually been doing music for almost 30 years. I just didn't know of them. They're English, and they're a progressive rock band, and you can.
Paul likes prog rock.
I know, right?
Jeez.
And you can hear flavors
Let's stretch out.
of influence in their music, but they sound like them, and they're ridiculously good players. And so that's my Porcupine Tree.
Awesome.
But they're
Awesome.
new. They're current. And-
They
but
are current. They're
yeah.
still doing stuff.
Yeah.
My question to you is: are they in the vein of the true golden age of prog rock
They really are.
mid to late '70s? Are they really like keeping the
They're
That
keeping
flame.
they're keeping the faith. They're keeping the flame.
Yeah.
They'll remind you a little bit of
not to
Pink-
quote Kenny Loggins, but they keeping the fire?
They're keeping the fire.
Right.
They'll remind you a little bit of Pink Floyd, a little bit of Yes, a little
But-
bit of Rush, but they're their own thing.
But
That's good.
going back to Kenny Loggins, do they go into the danger zone?
Well, only when necessary.
Okay, good.
Yeah. mhm.
Only when
Good,
they
good.
collaborate with Giorgio Moroder.
Ah. All right. So, Bill.
The band that I recently discovered, a singer
Right.
that I recently discovered, and I found him from my nighttime music that I listened to on Pandora.
Is this before or after
You're
your,
not paying us.
your
I-
warm milk?
You know, nobody's paying us.
It's
right
true.
now. I'm a couple hundred in so far.
But we can invoice
Hey,
Bane's
you can't have
jerky.
money.
Yeah, but no, I listened to, you know, I referenced Colin Hay earlier. Colin, get your shit on AMI, so I can listen to it at the bar. But there's a British singer named Alexi Murdoch, folk singer from England. He's only put out a couple albums, although he's been producing or putting music out since the early 2000s, I believe. And songs like All My Days, Orange Sky, and I would A Song for You. Of those three, probably All My Days. But we watched a video earlier tonight with him and a guy you may have heard of before. He was gonna be my new discovery, Pete Townsend. I can't remember the piano
Turns
player's
out he's
name.
under contract.
Who was that?
No. Different.
He's got representation already.
Who?
I can't remember the name of the piano player.
Who are
that
you?
Pete Townsend was trying to look down her
who the
shirt.
fuck
in the
are you?
video.
Well, no, we just.
But Alex Murdoch would be
Alexi.
the one. Alexi, I'm sorry, I said Alex. My daughter, anyway. Alexi Murdoch.
My daughter.
My daughter. She's a treasure. Oh
She
no,
is.
that's my niece.
No, you're not. No,
yeah,
that's your
my,
daughter.
My favorite.
The
niece.
treasure.
My favorite daughter.
Don't
She's
call
a
me
treasure.
daughter.
Hey, that was 2 weeks ago.
Better man.
Call
I'm a better man. All right. But anyway, Alexi Murdoch would be my my new discovery. Not that he's new, but I recently discovered him and enjoy the folk. Wish he would incorporate more mandolin.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Because you
everyone
know what
has.
folk music needs?
There's
More mandolin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because
I think we're
that'll
just
make
trying.
it better.
I think we're just trying to say it needs more folk and mandolin. Sorry, that's
For
just
Christmas
and
this year,
mandolin.
we are getting.
For the record, I fucking hate folk music.
Oh,
we are
damn.
getting, yeah,
And mandolin.
For Christmas this year, we're getting UPC a mandolin and a
And
dul-
jam bands.
and a dulcimer.
Hammer.
And more cowbell.
more cowbell.
I like
and-
cowbell.
and
We
a
should have
juice-
this part of the
and
rhythm
a
section.
juice
Cowbell.
heart.
Cowbell.
So, all right.
Meow.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
wrap things up.
What was yours?
It's my turn.
I'll
Yeah,
take it.
okay.
Yes.
That would explain it.
Larry.
So the band that I have discovered in the last 2 years, thanks to my daughter. You guys might remember from the last episode of
Stop masturbating, Paul.
eating terrible stuff for our Italian breakfast, which, by the way, was her favorite part of the last episode, would be Motionless in White.
Oh yeah.
Super
They
good.
are
Super good.
and I know that they didn't start in the last 2 years, but I've discovered them, and they are just musically amazing. Chris Motionless, the lead singer, is just friggin' one thing that I love about the new I guess new metal, if you want to call it that. These guys can go from perfect pitch singing to crazy scream growl back to perfect pitch singing and not skip a beat. I don't know how someone's vocal cords can change like that and do it, I mean, word for word.
Well, it's new metal, so they're not rusty.
Well, that's true.
Well, there you go.
I think they
are
have
young.
special vape cartridges now
And-
for that.
and-
or something.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it new metal or is it GNU metal?
Gary, new metal.
I think it's Cebu metal.
Hey, no GNUs is good GNUs,
No GNUs.
so it's not GNU.
All right. There you go.
But to quote my good buddy Paul,
Who?
when I played the song "Thoughts and Prayers" for him, he
Oh, that's a good title. I would listen to that just to see what it means.
it's everything you hope it would be.
Good. Because
But
that
to
phrase.
quote my,
Ducks everywhere.
my buddy Paul, and this was a text I sent my daughter to let her know, the drummer for Motionless in White is a god. And that is a quote.
Indeed.
This section brought to you by Indie.
And also
I was going Big Trouble in Little China, but anyway.
an interesting tidbit.
Yes.
My daughter's fiance actually took her to go see them in concert, and they said live is every bit of what you hear and then some.
Let's hear for quality parenting.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm good at my job.
I have always heard that live, way better than dead.
Well, yeah. Throwing Copper was really good.
It was.
That was a great
It
album.
really was a good album.
But you know, 433 can be played live or dead, and it will sound the same.
True, and that's a problem. So, well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you guys for listening. Tell all your friends. Tell us all. Remember, there will be a link to the playlist in the description, and you guys
Is that
can.
the great link?
No, it's just a link to the playlist,
Is that a Zelda reference?
and so we're gonna all say our goodbyes. We're gonna go around. Bill, you have something you want to say?
I'm spent. I'm Trent Reisner. Thanks for listening.
All right. UPC.
I look forward to talking with you guys next week, alive as myself.
Michael,
Good night.
Paul.
Thank you for listening. Good night, everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys. Tune in next week where we will be talking about something terrible.